part of me is asking, how did we get here? And if you don't know what I mean by that, Saucony is now making their mark in the streetwear fashion community. A lot of sneakers have been kind of put upon us in the last few years, kind of revamping themselves, whether that be Saucony, New Balance, ASIC. They're all dominating street markets. And it's pretty fascinating to me, especially if you grew up in the era where it was all about Nike, Jordan, and maybe Adidas. I think right now is the most pivotal time for sneakers, where every sneaker brand has some value in the sneaker community, and that's what I love most. More importantly, that's what I love most about the channel. This channel was pretty much made from me just being a sneakerhead. Never in my life did I only wear Jordans, only wear Yeezys, or only wear Nikes. I've always loved sneakers in itself. Puma, New Balance, Nike, ASIC, you name it, I've always loved them. And that's the main reason why I love doing videos like this on the channel, because this is where real sneakerheads are well-rounded. Sneaker YouTubers get bad reps on only liking hype sneakers. And to be honest, the reason why you might see majority of people like myself do videos on hype sneakers is because it's a job. And we know that the hype sneakers will get the views. However, there's so many sneakers I have in my collection that I've never done a video on because I know it might not make the most sense for monetization, but it's still a sneaker that I always wanted. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have one of the best sneakers of the year, the J-Tips What's the Occasion Grid Shadow 2. Without further ado, let's get into it. What is going on, everybody? I'm sorry for the long intro, man. It's a lot different than what we usually do, but I had to get it off my chest because I know how it is in the sneaker community these days. Everybody in the comments wants to call content creators like myself hype beast, but reality is, if we was to do videos on sneakers that we genuinely like, the views won't be there. And it just doesn't make sense to put in so much effort for content that doesn't perform well when you can just target the videos for high performance videos. So when it becomes a job, then it's a little bit different. If you want to see videos on just about everything that I buy, from good sneakers to non-hype sneakers, my Instagram and my TikTok is where you probably want to be, because a lot of that content goes there. But for long form content, I try my best to know my audience and know what y'all want to see, and I pretty much create that type of content regardless. This sneaker in particular, the J-Tips What's the Occasion Grid Shadow 2, in my opinion, should be in the run-in for Sneaker of the Year. First off, it was an early review earlier this year, actually an early release, I'm sorry, at ComplexCon. And this box, okay, is signed by J-Tips himself, and even got the ComplexCon 23 on the side of the box. First off, huge shout out to my boy Corey. He works at Kick Theory. He went to ComplexCon this year. He picked up this pair, and he was gracious enough to allow me to cop these. Super thankful. J-Tips, where can I start? J-Tips to me is one of the most talented upcoming designers in sneakers. When I think about him, I think of guys like Salehi, I think of Joe Fresh. These guys are really bringing value to sneaker brands that was once looked at as just not as equal. I've never seen the hype about a Saucony like I have today, and it's not because of a famous rapper, it's not because of a famous athlete, it's just because of a great and talented designer. This sneaker released last weekend for the retail price of $150. If you try to buy them on J-Tips website, you was bombarded by bots. Let me know down below. Wow. Let me know down below in the comments if you were able to cop them. But if you was, buy out. This is the J-Tips What's the Occasion Grid Shadow 2, and I want to tell y'all right now, man, the colorway on this shoe is crazy, the material is crazy, and it's just a lot to get into. It was two colorways that dropped. It was this blue colorway and another colorway that was brown. Of course, that will be on the screen right now. In my opinion, that earth tone brown colorway was my favorite, and that was the pair I was actually going for on the night of the drop. Very hard sneaker to get. I'm actually hoping that they hit retail stores and they hit the Saucony website, because if so, I'll have a better chance. I think right now they're selling on for like $300, $500. So I'm not buying them for $300, $500. I'm gonna just wait first, because listen, as much as I love the shoe, as much as I love a Saucony, man, $500 for a sneaker that was $150, I'm just not ready to come off the hip like that for a Saucony yet. I feel like it's getting there. It's getting there for sure. This is not J-Tip's first time around. He's already released one of the best sneakers of last year, which was the Grid Azura 2000. And I think that actually put Saucony back on the map, if we're gonna speak honestly. However, that colorway to me just wasn't one of my favorites. It had like animal prints, a lot of wild colors that I didn't resonate with that colorway myself, because realistically, I didn't think I would be like putting those on feet and throwing together fits. However, this time around, he came up with some new colorways like these and that earth tone brown pair that I actually adapted to a lot more, and here we are today. However, let's get into this sneaker because I truly do believe that, man, it's some great things happening over at Saucony. And like I said, if you believe me, down below in the comments, this is probably the best time I've ever been involved in sneakers, because there's no clear dominant force in the game. Of course, we love Nike and Jordan. They will always do the most numbers, but as far as bringing value, so many other brands are now bringing value to sneakers. It's a beautiful thing if you're a sneakerhead, man. It really is. Let's start off with this outer sole. The outer sole is black. We get some blue, and we get a hint in this faint pink. And last but not least, we get the Saucony branding on the bottom of the sneaker. Coming up to the midsole, we get this fainted pink midsole running throughout the entire sneaker. And that's something that I love about this sneaker, because it brings a little value to it. It brings a little pop. Way better than like a Summit White would have on this midsole. It would have just kind of dulled out the sneaker. As you can see, it's meant to be popped. It's meant to be noticed. And of course, that faint pink definitely gives it the idea it was looking for. A cool detail that they decided to put on this Saucony Grid Shadow 2 was the wave pattern on the upper, and it's in this great hairy suede throughout the entire upper of the sneaker. This shoe has great material. One thing about brands that a lot of you guys might not like as much, Saucony, New Balance, ASIC, even Solomon, sometimes what they do on these sneakers is put so many great qualities on a Saucony like this. If you can see, well, you should be able to see from the details I'm showing you on the B-roll. This suede is amazing. Not to mention the mesh running throughout the entire upper, making the shoe breathable. In my opinion, this is more of a summer shoe. The brown pair is more of a fall time vibe. However, if you did want to rock these in the summer, it's a great option because the mesh running completely through the upper makes these breathable. More importantly, makes them relaxed. And nobody likes an uncomfortable sneaker unless it's a Jordan 4. If we're keeping it a bean. If we're gonna talk about it, let's talk about it. Jordan 4s get a pass, bro. They can feel like boots all they want to. They classics, bro. We're gonna leave them alone. Not only do this shoe comes with the nice mesh, but it also comes with some soft suede on the midsole as well. And I think a cool feature that he put on this sneaker was this forever in red cursive writing, just because it adds such a pop to the side of the sneaker. I really do like that add-on. I really do think it's clean, and it's on this nice light baby blue to kind of give it like a different color texture, popping off of the dark blue that's on the mesh. Speaking of mesh, it's mesh on the tongue as well. The sneakers do come with two different laces. Right now they're laced up in all white, but laced up at the top, you can see is a darker green, kind of similar to the Saucony logo is on this shoe so effortlessly, you probably missed it. And it has that same fainted pink that's exhibited through the midsole on the side panel of the sneaker as well. Few key details is the red eyelets that's on the lace holes. You also get the multicolored flower on the back heel. And last but not least, you get the savior underneath the flower. And I think that's kind of him indicating that he might be the savior of Saucony or the savior of sneakers. One thing I can say about J-Tips is I try my best to be involved in sneaker conversations or just to assert myself of what's going on. And watching some of the podcasts he's guest appearance on, or just watching some of the things he said, I like the fact that he's tapped in with the community. Let me know down below in the comment section which colorway is your favorite. Are you picking these up if they re-release on the Saucony website and if they hit retail stores? I have a strong belief, and I talked to a good friend of mine who I say he's a little tapped in, that these will be releasing once again on the Saucony website or retail stores. Me personally, I hope they release in retail stores because online is hell trying to cop anything these days. It's been like that for years, but I didn't think I was gonna have to go through that for a Saucony. And because I am, if they're online, I'm just going around it, bro. I don't want no parts of online. Catch me at a retail store and hopefully I can get one. But until next time, man, it is your boy Sniper Jones. Do not forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already done that. Follow me over on Instagram and TikTok, Twitter, they're all linked down below. And until next time, I'll see you in the next one. You know I cannot leave without saying everybody want to be famous, but really putting in that work though. Snipe Squad, I love y'all. Dream big.